The Everdrive line of products are devices that allow you to load ROMs on an original console or handheld. The Game Gear version of the Everdrive just got an upgrade, and I'd like to check it out and compare it against the original. Krikzz just released the Game Gear Everdrive X7, which is based off the latest Sega Master System Everdrive, but in the form factor of a Game Gear game. The Everdrive comes pre-installed in a high-quality case, and then you supply your own micro SD card. The look and feel is really close to an original Game Gear cartridge, and it even fits perfectly inside a dust cover. That makes it easy to store when switching between this and original games. Also, the previous Game Gear Everdrive didn't come with a case if you bought it directly from Krikzz, so you'd either have to make your own or cannibalize a real Game Gear game. I never like to waste any game, so I asked a friend to print me a 3D shell. While I like the color a lot, I definitely prefer the look of the new X7, plus how easy it is to remove the micro SD card. Setup is as easy as formatting an SD card FAT32, then copying your ROM files and adding the latest firmware from Krikzz's website. Please note that the original Game Gear Everdrive had to be formatted differently to FAT16. After that, just insert the ROM cart, power on the Game Gear, and select your game. It's about as easy as you could ask for. The first thing users of the previous Game Gear Everdrive might have noticed is how fast the game loads. Let's take a look at the original Everdrive booting the same game at the same time as the X7. I chose one of the Game Gear's largest games, Sonic Blast, to do the test, but keep in mind most games are much smaller and the load times are going to be at least half of what Sonic Blast is. Still, the difference on these larger games is pretty big. An instant load on the X7 compared to about 1 full minute on the original Game Gear Everdrive. I honestly don't think the longer load times of the original are a big deal, and I never minded waiting, however I'm happy that it's been improved in the newer version. The other difference I noticed from the original is the X7 can now play the game Gunstar Heroes, which I believe is the only game the original Game Gear Everdrive wasn't compatible with. I was also told the game Shining Force Final Conflict had an issue with saving on the original Game Gear Everdrive, and while I can't read Japanese to test the original one, the fan translation seems to save just fine. A very handy new feature is an in-game menu and save states. You have to enable it in the main ROM selection screen by hitting Start to bring up a settings menu. Then just set it to any key combination you'd like. Once your game is in progress, hold the same button combination you just set to access the menu, and as you can see here, save states are pretty straightforward and seem to work very well. Just a quick note, this Game Gear has its original screen, which obviously hasn't aged very well compared to modern LCDs, but I did add a glass screen protector. Also, all of its capacitors were replaced, something that needs to be done on all Game Gears. If you haven't done this on yours yet, the fluid that leaks from the capacitors can permanently destroy your Game Gear. Please consider having a professional recap and clean your Game Gear right away, regardless of if you plan on doing any other mods or not. Also, there's a few mods available such as TV out and an upgraded screen, but I'll cover those in a future video. Overall, I really like the Game Gear Everdrive X7. Whether it's right for you really just comes down to price and features though. Do you want instant loading, the ability to have save states, and compatibility with the 1 or 2 games that the original wasn't compatible with? If so, then it's definitely worth the money, and possibly even worth upgrading from your original Game Gear Everdrive. That being said, the original is available for only around $80 on Stone Age Gamer brand new, and you could find them even cheaper used. So if you're looking to come into Game Gear Everdrive solutions at a budget, definitely go for the original and just deal with the load times whenever you need to load a larger game. If you'd like the most fully featured Everdrive for your Game Gear though, the X7 is definitely the one for you. That's it for this time. If you liked this video, please consider signing up for support services like Patreon and Floatplane, because without your contributions, videos like this, as well as all of the research that goes into the behind-the-scenes work, would never be able to happen. Also, if you'd like to be kept in the loop of everything going on in the retro gaming scene, check out the weekly podcast, which is available both as a video and everywhere audio podcasts can be found. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.